Hey Leaves, welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Okay, Leaves. The mother, the underworld, the box, the offering, and the comic. I have a lot of Leaves in my life, and I just feel like I love y'all. I think the mother in the underworld, the mother is the idea of clinging to an identity and, like clinging to something. Okay, the mother literally is clinging to your children and gaining your identity out of them, or trusting that you've raised them to the best of your ability and allowing them to be released. And I don't know, like, I just, like the other night, and I haven't watched this movie in years, mind you, but, like one of my all-time favorite lines ever, and I have two boys, right? And they're big boys. They're like tall and muscular and gorgeous, and I always said, like, only a real woman can give birth to Spartan men, like my Spartan boys. And I just, like, I don't know, I just feel like this, but like that's not my identity. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the entirety of who I am. And I just feel like there's an idea of like clinging to an identity that really just kept you lost in the dark. Kept you thrown in these boxes that were just like, it was like every time you got out of one, you felt like you were in another one that was more confining, and you're like, fuck, how does this keep happening to me? And I just want to say it's because you're clinging to an identity, right? Whether that's, like a literal role with a parent, like I was abandoned, and, and that I know for a few of my leads, like I was, this, or I was that. And it's just kind of like, but that's not your identity. That's an experience that you had. But if you allow for that to resonate through your life, throughout the years, throughout the decades, you will be in that state. You know what I mean? Like if you say, I don't have a mother, and your mother's there, you know what I mean? Your mother's like trying to have a relationship with you, but you're so hung up on some other idea of like what that has to be. You know what I mean? That like you shit on it every opportunity you get. It's just kind of like that puts you in that position. You know what I mean? That keeps you in that position. And people don't understand how big rhetoric is, but what we speak over ourselves is what we experience in our lives. Because if you stopped speaking negativity and loss and abandonment and anger, and you started speaking gratitude and blessings, you know what I mean? Like gratitude that you were, whatever, but it's just kind of like I just feel like this feeling of like an offering that is very much like, I can see the humor in this, because I know that if I never find humor in it, then I hold on to an identity that is going to leave me feeling more lost every single step of the way. And that's not necessary, right? And it's just kind of like here's an offering to find the silver lining. Here's an offering to really move past this in a real way, to take that narrative of loss and anger and sadness and turn it into something that is beautiful, that allows for you to find how you can release that identity and step into one that honors all of the beauty of your life, because beauty abounds. Okay, Libras. The King of Cups, the Two of Cups, Santa Muerta, the Three of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. Well, again, I really do feel like there is just an idea here of like hanged man energy. You know what I mean? Like, it's how do you speak about it, and what do you speak over it, and why, and how can you speak positively over it, right? How can you practice gratitude? How can you practice thankfulness? How can you say, I had the opportunity to have this experience, and yes, there was a ton of negativity in this experience, but there was so much learning, and the understanding that came at the end brought you back to life. It was healing. It was never intended to hurt you. You know what I mean? And I feel like something that happened felt like it was intended to hurt you. But the reality of it is that life happens. You know what I mean? Like shit goes down. And you know what I mean? Like people are out here doing the best that they can, surviving, but gratitude for the fact that that's the case, right? So thankful that there are so many people out here who are trying, who are doing their best. So thankful for the opportunity to overcome a negative narrative. You know what I mean? Love and gratitude. And then you have the Three of Wands, which is usually a trip card. So I don't know, maybe some of y'all are going on a trip. I know it's spring break soon. Leaves. I don't know. And if it's somebody who you've been in a relationship with and you guys have been arguing and it's been one of those kind of things where you're like, I don't know, like nitpicking somebody, you know, like you don't really have an actual reason to be mad at them. So you're like making up reasons to be mad at them because of whatever this experience has been that's just like resonated throughout your life and all of the areas, because something that big doesn't just leave you unaffected in every other area, but the one area that it happened in. I wish, you know, but I feel like that's what's being let go of. And it's a part of your identity, you know? But it's like once you can release that like commitment to an identity that like it's such a negative narrative, like why would you want to dictate your life with a negative narrative? Maybe you've got role models in your life or family members in your life who they just want to speak negative over everything, but on God, that is such a negative impact on the entirety of your life. It is so important to be in control of your life, be in control of your rhetoric. And I say that, you know, like, and I'm not saying that to disregard faith. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that to disregard, you know, like trusting in God or trusting in the universe. I'm saying that as in you have control over that by being the best version of yourself, by showing up for yourself, by speaking positivity over your life and over, you know, like even the negative things. They like, to go back to what I said before, like shit happens and that's not in anybody's control. What is in our control is how we speak over it and how we approach things and how we look at it, you know, because you can have 10 people experience the same thing and have 10 people look at it 10 different ways. And the ones who cling to the negativity and the angst and the rhetoric and the narrative that says, I can't find any good in this, are the ones who live a lot rougher lives than the ones who are willing to acknowledge, you know what, there was a lot of negative here, but there was a lot to learn and a lot of gratitude to be experienced along the way. I'm going to move forward with gratitude. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to let that get the best of me. The Shadow Dance and the 10 of Swords, again, releasing that idea of an identity. And I just feel like cutting out, if there are people who are just like throwing shade, throwing shit around you 24/7, sometimes you just have to shut those people up. You are speaking poison into the air that I breathe. You know what I mean? You speak poison over my food. You speak poison over my water. You speak poison over my person. You know what I mean? That negative. Oh, you've been this. Oh, you've done, you know, like you should be hateful and angry. And you know what I mean? And that is just not okay. And you got to quiet those voices and you got to pull away for a minute. You just got to like, I think it was the Pisces read, but it was just that like, shut the door, leave me alone. You know, because I feel like you've heard the call. Again, this offering that says like, can move past this and find the beauty in it and turn things around. You've been working enough to know I mean, you have the Three of Cups, the King of Cups, the Two of Cups. I feel like there is just, I don't know, I just feel like this. When you stop speaking negatively over everything and you allow yourself to tap into, what is that? Raw emotion. Raw emotion. Yes. Okay. We're coming back around. Sorry. I low-key kind of forgot what the last Libra read was. But it's been a busy day. It is that feel though. It's that like I can allow myself to experience this. You know, like I can tap into my magic and I can go in this direction. And I love that for my Libs. Okay. Let's do one last card for y'all. We'll call it read. Whoops. Ah. The Village and the Kiss. Well, I mean, again, to go back to that, like, if it's your family, if it's your friends, like, whoever this village is, it's just kind of this idea of, like, you can't engage in anything if you're constantly guarded. And if you're constantly guarded, you need a reason to stay that way, which means you got to keep yourself surrounded by a whole lot of negativity, right? Because people who aren't negative don't enjoy being around people who are just, oh, what was the last one? I was like, oh, I could do that, and I could do this. You know what I mean? And you're like, why don't you do it then? You know what I mean? You know, like nobody wants to be around somebody who's always like, oh, I just want to be in love, and oh, do you believe in soulmates, and oh, da 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 da. But they won't ever show up. You know what I mean? Like they won't ever like actually engage in a conversation with you. Do you know what I mean? And then you looking at people like, why aren't you doing this? And they're like, well, I don't know, because you, like, what are you talking about exactly? You know what I mean? And I think that, again, it's that guardedness. But I almost feel like this, like, I'm going to keep my guard up because I'm going to sick all these people on you. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't have to, you can't hurt me because I'm protected by all these people and I'll just sick, you know what I mean? Again, and it's just like, you know what I mean? Like an emotionally unintelligent person would feel threatened by that. And that's how I feel like that energy reads. It's like, I want you to feel threatened by me. Well, cool. But like, also you do understand that that is not safe, and that anybody who has any kind of self-respect is not going to allow anyone to sick people on them. What the fuck? Like, step out them hollers for a second, baby. You know what I mean? Like, that's not healthy. That's not a healthy mentality. There is nothing about that. It's justified through a dictated narrative of a religion that has taken on some alter ego and does not even resonate in real life with what's actually written. But I digress. If you allow yourself to experience life, if you allow yourself like, okay, yeah, you dove into the dirty. Congratulations. Why don't you rise up out of it now? Do the damn thing, leaves. All right. If this does resonate with y'all, please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Bye.